Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q, across from the Meteor Crater. And look who I have in the studio with me today.
Hey, everybody.
We have MCKAY, a big proponent of the Property Taxpayers Alliance.
Very supportive of the group. And if you get a chance, go to their website and sign up for their newsletter. Great organization.
Yeah, they hear me talk about Property Taxpayers Alliance all the time, and I encourage everybody to go to their Facebook page. Join up. Go to propertytaxpayers.ca. Is that what it is?
Propertytaxpayers.ca.
Yes. Yep, .ca, and go to the website and check out what they have to say. If you're interested in property taxes and what you're paying, and you don't think you're paying fairly, you're paying way too much, and our taxes keep going up, well, these are the guys who watch this kind of thing.
That's right.
So they're the guys you want to be taking a look at and keeping in touch with. Their Facebook page or whatever, leave comments because, yeah, they're the watchdogs. They're the guys who watch out for us, the property taxpayers. And, of course, I do it too.
Yeah.
I'm always talking about that. So great to have you in. We haven't had you in for about 6 weeks or so. Before what happened with Bob Gale and everything else. So we're going to really talk about that today. A little more about amalgamation, where we think it's going.
Yep.
Get Al's opinion on that. Of course, Doge, how we need to have Department of Government efficiencies hanging around because there's way too many expenses, and there's a lot of efficiencies that could be found if they have the will. And then we'll get into whatever else we think is appropriate for the hour. But first, I've got to get to my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And you know, with this weather churning right now, right, it's the time to get your car in, be proactive, get your car checked out for the summer. You do not want to be breaking down in the summer. I know what happens, Al.
Yeah.
You're on your way. You got the kids and the wife all packed up, and you're on your way to Muskoka. And your car breaks down, and then you got to listen to your kids and your wife. And so listen, don't even go through that aggravation.
Go get your car checked out.
Get it checked out. Ken Hunter down at Wild Bill's is going to go through your car front to back, top to bottom. He's going to make sure all systems are go for the summer, and you're going to have a happy motoring spring and summer. And I think some group says you should put your winter tires on your car when temperatures go below +7. Well, guess what? They're above +7. Yeah. It's time to take them off.
Yeah,
you're going to wear them out. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. Full body shop. Bring your car in, wrecked. They send it back to you in showroom condition. You can't beat it. And while you're at wildbillsauto.ca checking out their services and making appointments, flip over to YouTube, my YouTube channel, Paul Lemire 4973. There's a 4937. I always get it mixed up, but one of those. Or you can search Your City, Your Voice, 4973, I'm pretty sure. And sign up. Subscribe. It costs you nothing. Mm-hmm. And you can see great guests like MCKAY in the studio. And you can see what we have to say about city council and expenditures and efficiencies and elections and budgets. And May 1st, which is a special day. It's when nominations open for city council. There's lots going on. You want to be aware. Give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down, give us a like, whatever. Leave comments. We love it, and we always respond to them. And you'll be better off in the know. Knowledge is power. That's why you're watching. So you know what's going on and who's doing what with your tax dollars. Okay. Oh, we already got somebody here. You know what? I think I'm going to mention this, too, while I hear that ding. I mean, what the hell, right?
Yeah.
This right here, 905. 289-994-7560. That's the number. If you have anything to say while Al is discussing anything or we're discussing anything, just text me, 289-994-7560. We'll get your comment on, we'll get your text on, and we'll make sure we discuss it, right?
Absolutely.
Al? Take all questions. So easy. Just give us a text. That's all it takes. No big deal. Okay, so here we go. Al, we got amalgamation. We had Bob Gale.
Yeah.
Bob Gale had to step down. They said the papers made a big deal out of Bob Gale stepping down because he owned a collector's book of Mein Kampf signed by the Fuhrer, Mr. Hitler, and I shouldn't even call him Mr. because he doesn't deserve that title. But it's signed by him. And at the end of the day, guess what? They made a big deal about it, and he stepped down. But Al, I don't think that's the reason.
No,
you
know, to me, it's almost sort of like a distraction. Bob took a lot of courage for Bob to come in front of regional council and to sort of push this idea that what's happening in this region isn't working at this time, and that took a lot for him to do, and he took a lot of criticism for even suggesting the idea of change and any type of amalgamation. Went around, tried to speak at a couple of councils. So this book that I understand that you can purchase on Amazon, this book that you can get in a public library, in some public libraries. I think that's more of a distraction than is anything else.
Yep.
He's a collector of historical artifacts. I think that's an important context. This wasn't like the only thing. And I don't believe Bob, from what I know of Bob, subscribes to any of the theology or any of the methodology that's inside the book that he had purchased. Not that I'm aware of it.
Well, you know what? Like, we all know this guy was a despicable guy. And what he did during the war was despicable. Yeah. There's a lot of hatred for him, and I don't blame anybody for hating this guy. And if he didn't kill himself allegedly. Yeah. They should have strung him up in public, right?
Like they did with all the other war criminals.
That's right. Yeah. He's despicable. But for a book that you can get almost anywhere on Amazon and libraries, for a collector that, here's the funny part of, I wouldn't even doubt if Bob Gale he probably hasn't read Mein Kampf.
Possibly not.
It's in German.
It's in German, that's right.
If it's from Germany, a collector's item signed, it's in German. Yeah. I don't know if Bob can read German, but I'm willing to bet he can.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that this has come to this. It's kind of almost derailed or sidetracked an important issue of discussing that our current governance setup here in Niagara is not working. And it's costing many people here in the region. It's costing them more and more and more. At a time when we're complaining about the cost of groceries and we're complaining about cost of groceries or the cost of gas. And by the way, April 1st is coming, so the industrial carbon tax is going to increase your cost of gas even more.
Yeah, they said 10 to 13 cents. Yeah, it's going up tomorrow. April Fool's Day.
Yeah. So we have all of this, and then we have almost a 25% increase in your property taxes in the last 3-4 years. I said, that's ridiculous. That's just unaffordable. It's going up faster than anything else, especially inflation. So Bob was brave to bring this up to say that what we're currently doing, the cost of doing nothing, if we did nothing, it's not sustainable. We're going to have to start giving up on services. We're going to have to start going back and still maintaining these 6, 7, and 8% increases. So we needed to do something. Bob came forward to do that. Now, he took a lot of criticism for it, and it's regrettable. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to see any change at all, that want to live in the past and just, again, this isn't 1970s region of Niagara, right? We're 2026. It's time to move forward. It's time to update our governance so it works for us and not the other way around.
Yeah, I don't think Bob was wrong when he said people want to protect their fiefdoms. Mm-hmm. I don't think Bob was wrong saying that because, for so many years I've heard, we got to get rid of region. We got to get rid of region. We had a referendum, I believe, in Niagara Falls, and 70% or something voted to get rid of the region totally. Now, it wasn't a binding referendum. It was just an opinion poll, more or less, where people got to check a box when they voted. But the results were dramatic, and they were one-sided. Yeah, get rid of region. So everybody's been complaining, and now Bob Gale steps up to get rid of it. And what happens? They're all complaining they want to keep it.
Or, internally with the region, I find it surprising that politicians are even allowed to comment on this because it is a conflict of interest, right? It's a clear conflict of interest where the decisions that you made or the influence that you're trying to have on this topic have a direct benefit to yourself. We run 13 corporations here in Niagara. Hamilton has one to manage their municipal services. You have municipal politicians that have been around for a very long time who are become quite comfortable with collecting their part-time salary. I think it's part-time, or they get paid like full-time. They get paid, I know in the region, it's over
Pretty good money.
not bad money. Yeah. So it's a clear conflict of interest. So changes are needed. People are going to protect that. People are not going to speak openly about what's best for the taxpayer, the people that are actually paying for these services. So
yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I said that, for several
yeah.
shows now, that this is totally a conflict of interest. How can you be voting for or against losing your job?
Yeah.
And it's not a conflict. I don't think the politicians should have a say, to be honest with you.
They shouldn't. There should be an independent group that comes in and looks what best. Even an auditing group. Have someone come in. We've had a number of people come in. You have the Berkeley report from 30 years ago that came in and said changes were needed. You guys are too cumbersome, too duplicative. The Berkeley report from 30 years ago. You had people, again, I'm mostly politicians, but the steering committee back in 2024, which I had the honor of speaking at in favor of some type of governance reform. If people don't understand why we need governance reform and the costs associated with administering our government services, I suggest maybe just going in and taking a look at the sunshine list that just got released this week and take a look at the city of Niagara Falls, or look at the city of St. Catharines, and look at the number of people that are currently making over $100,000. And a lot of people are, it's $100,000. It's $100. What's the average salary here in Niagara for someone living in Niagara? It's not
45, 50.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly. So these are people that are making $100,000, and look at the percentage increase from the year before. You look at the number of staff members that they've hired over the last little while. We've exploded at both the lower tier and the upper tier. Something has to change. It's just not sustainable.
Well, I mean, every firefighter, every police officer makes $100,000 or more.
Yeah,
depending on overtime in that. So, I mean, and most of the people that are hired on city council now, or not on the city council, but on the city, the new hires are all $100,000 people. I mean, I don't know how many there are in Niagara Falls. I never added them all up. I've been through the sunshine list though for Niagara Falls. You can go there and look it up. It's all available, and I'll talk more about that on Thursday's show. But it's all there, and of course, every one of those that are hired comes out of the taxpayer's pocket. Remember, the city has no money. They get their money from us.
You hear politicians now that we're having this serious conversation about governance changes that are coming. And now you're hearing that Niagara-on-the-Lake, and what was the other one? There was Niagara-on-the-lake, there was Fort Erie,
Port Colborne.
They're all saying, okay, we're going to decrease the number of politicians that are there and we're going to try and develop shared services, something they've talked about forever. Decreasing your council size by 1 or 2 is going to have very little impact on your property taxes or on the outcome of what's happening here. We need dramatic changes to the way that we manage or administer our government services. It's just,
it's ridiculous. And now all of a sudden, these people who never wanted to get rid of region before, all of a sudden now they're, we're going to cut our city councils. But I think the public, Al, needs a lesson in money, because these councils are cutting 2 people. So that equals like maybe $70,000.
2 part-time people.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
But the councillors, I mean, they're getting rid of 2 councillors.
2 councillors. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, really, it means like maybe $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
And Niagara Falls about 70,000, or between 70 and 80, depending on. But at the end of the day, that's a spit in the bucket of $200 million budgets, or in the region's case, $2 billion if they're going to get rid of a couple of councillors off of there.
It's just
that's not the big 12
No, the issue is the administration, the staff members that we hire. We have 13 chief administrative officers. We have 12 fire chiefs now. We have 13 finance departments. We have all these economic development officers. Like, I could go on and on and on. And it's not even the boots on the ground people, right? It's the managers and the middle managers and the upper middle managers and the senior executives with these organizations that are just making so much money, like lots and lots. And you can see that escalation in their wages. It's It's astounding, is what it is.
Yeah, they get 4% a year, basically.
Easily, yeah.
So,
well, they have to keep up with their property taxes.
I mean, even our economic development guy in Niagara Falls makes $200,000 a year, and you may multiply that times 13 because you have the other 11 municipalities that have economic development people and the region.
Yeah,
this is where all these duplications come in, and all the salaries tied around that, all the people working around them. I mean, it's not just one guy.
Yeah.
It's a whack of people that surround him so that he can get everything through and get everything done, all the stats and all the research and everything else he needs.
That's why I don't like when people talk about governance reform and they focus just on the politicians. Yeah, the politicians, we need to have less politicians. 126 is ridiculous.
Way too much.
But you don't start by reducing the politicians. You got to go, what services are we offering? And I delegated in St. Catharines and I said this, simply put, you need to look at the services we need to offer from a municipal point of view. How are you going to best manage those services? And then how are you going to best govern them from there? Simply put. And that governance model is not going to be 13 different corporations. And same with the bottom part of it, right? What's the best way to manage this? Well, it's not going to be through 13 different corporations that we're going to manage this handful of services or this bunch of services that we're going to offer in exchange for your tax money or your property taxes. It's just not going to be.
It just doesn't make sense to have 13 of every department.
That's right.
It makes more sense to have what we did with the fire and police. It's got a board that runs it, and then it runs out of the region on the whole. Like the whole region shares the police, and the whole region shares the transit, and the whole region shares the water and wastewater management. These items like that, so you don't have one manager and a crew in each city. It's all taken care of by one. That's where you're going to get your big savings. Maybe you figure 25, 30 million?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The savings that I was able to, when you look at it on paper, was going to One Niagara. And I acknowledge and recognize that some people are like, whoa, that's like handing the keys over to the asylum, to the people of the asylum. He goes, we can't do that because they've proven already that from a regional perspective, they're not able to manage those funds very well, right? Or manage their FTEs very well. So we're concerned about that. So this is kind of an interim step. So I've heard is when governance happens, it's either going to be one Niagara or it's going to be 4 Niagaras with regional council being run on a temporary basis, having just the mayors involved. So there's 12 mayors and a regional chair to manage the region as an interim, while as the first step to change. Where that finishes is, I'm not sure, and I don't know when we're going to hear about it. It's been very quiet the last week with regards to if we still have to have a regional councilor or a regional chair. We don't have one of those yet.
Yeah, I think since Bob DeGale's been gone, the rhetoric has really come down about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. So it's coming down to the province now. There's just a lot of 1 Niagara and 4 Niagaras, right?
It's like pretty much what it's come down to.
4 wards. That's what it's come down to. And most people are saying, a lot that I've talked to anyway, have been saying that 1 Niagara is just like having the region. You've got, like you said, the same people.
Yeah.
So the best bet is to go to 4, get rid of the region. But like you said, that's not going to happen immediately because you're still going to have some way to manage everything until these 4 take over what they've got to take over or amalgamate or get boards running, whatever they need to do. And that now Chris Regas was on the show and he made a lot of sense with his thinking of the 3 communities that are on the border that have something in common, the Grimsby Farms that have something in common, St. Catharines is its own, and then you got your smaller Welland Canal communities that band together. They all have one interest, kind of. They all have the same interests. And that's probably the way it's going to do it. And I tend to agree that's probably the way it might go down, with the ability to go to 1 Niagara when we get big enough or we have it to the point where we can do that. I don't know if it'll work right now, though.
Yeah. My only concern with that model, and it is out there, I mean, that model's been public, is you're not going to generate the savings on paper that you would generate with a 1 Niagara model. That's all I'm saying is with the 1 Niagara model, even just looking at the Sunshine List now and seeing how much those salaries have increased at both the regional level and the city level, those savings would even be greater now than they were last year and the year before that, because you wouldn't be paying these salaries. And the province has already agreed. They did this when they first got elected, that if we instituted any type of governance reform, that they had money set aside to help with those one-time costs like severance costs. And so I mean, there's just two models. Someone's got to make the decision. Unfortunately, it's not me. I know how I would move forward with it, but and I've been talking about this. I've been talking about this for years and years and years about the need. I'm just happy that, and again, I know people are pretty upset with Bob right now, but I want to give Bob a bit of a pat on the back, because what he did it took courage for him to do what he did. And he brought forward a very difficult topic, and he took a lot of arrows as a result of it, because he brought that up.
Well, it's something that's been talked about for years, and nobody did anything about it. Right. Finally, we get a guy that does something about it. I mean, I don't know why he stepped down. I don't really believe it was about the book. Whatever forces made him step down, I don't know. But at the end of the day, he did bring forward a topic that has been talked about, and now we're going to see action on it. I really believe that.
I hope so.
But I see the one model too, where you have you get rid of the region per se, and you have one big unit called Niagara, and then you get rid of all the duplication in all the other cities, and you have a couple reps from each city sitting on this, and everybody sits on a board, and the mayor's sitting on it, and you really reduce the number of politicians as well. So
either you go to, it doesn't matter if you go to a 4 or you go to a 1, you're still going to need to have a transition board. So you're still going to need to bring people together. How are we going to best manage this? And I think hopefully that's what Niagara does, or that's what the province does. They come down and say, okay, we're making these changes. We're going to put a group of people together, non-politicians, I hope, non-politicians, people who care about their community. Mr. Ford, if you're listening, I'm more than happy to help out. And actually take an unbiased look at this and what is the best setup for Niagara right now. So we can take advantage of those opportunities. So we don't have two levels of government that when you're talking about planning or opening up a new business, you got to go to multiple sources. Oh, I didn't go to the city for this. Now I got to go to the region for this. I got to go over here. It's not attractive for business when you got to run all over the place in order to get approvals, in order for you to set up a business. And it happens, people. It happens all the time. So,
yeah, well, that's the bad part. I mean, you want to do anything, and you got to go through, any development, city, whatever city it's going into. Then you have to go through the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. You have to go through this. They have to go through the region. Then you got to go through the province. I mean, it's never ending. And federal programs as well that have their hands in it. Having one place to go for at least the region would really make it streamline it. And you want to talk about developing and getting industry in. And as one Niagara, too, rather than us fighting with Port Colborne and Welland and everybody else for industries, the one Niagara region just kind of is a clearinghouse for them all. Who needs what? Who can offer what?
That's right.
As a one Niagara.
It makes economic development way easier.
It
makes
really
it more
does.
Streamlined. It makes it way easier. CAO Jason Burgess, he was in a paper a number of weeks ago, and I thought he brought up some really interesting stats that he said Niagara in general has 20 employees per 1,000 people that live here. Debt per resident is over $2,100 here in the region. $2,100 per resident. In Hamilton, it's only $600 per resident, and in London, it's only $400 per resident. It's way less. We have one elected official for every 4,200 residences. In Hamilton, they have one politician for every 37,000 residents. And in Norfolk County, it's 8,000 residents. What else did he say? He talked about residential taxes are on average 14% higher here in Niagara than any other place in the province, and industrial taxes 24% higher than it is in every other place in the office. And I'm happy that he brought these out, because these are the types of things that you look at, and I've been arguing for ages that taxes here in Niagara are some of the highest in the province. And he showed us. And so I'm excited to see April 30th, we have Dr. Marvin Ryder is being sponsored to come here through the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. And he'll be speaking on the topic of amalgamation and using his experience as the transition lead for the city of Hamilton when they amalgamated, and he found millions of dollars in savings. They were able to decrease corporate business tax. It just, so I'm interested in what I'd want to ask him. If I could ask Dr. Marvin Ryder anything, how would you have done it differently? If you had the opportunity to do it all over again, how would you have done it differently so that Niagara learns from the mistakes or from the challenges that occurred with the city of Hamilton?
Yeah, and that's probably the smartest way to do it, because somebody who's been through it knows the good points and the bad points.
Yeah.
You've seen both sides of it. And if you can learn from past experience and avoid the bad points or
Mitigate
a large portion of them, then basically you're better off, or you're going to have a smoother running region or a smoother running whatever they choose it to be. But you'll be able to avoid some of the pitfalls, and that always works out better.
Even the process, right? Even the process. Like he went through it this time, and there was a lot of resistance in the city of Hamilton to move in that direction. It was forced on him by then Premier Mike Harris, and so he would be running into the same sort of challenges that whoever's going to be on this steering committee, if they're doing a steering committee or however they're going to set this up, transition group, is going to run into. So I'm very interested, one, to hear what the province is going to announce as far as changes are concerned, and then how they're going to go ahead and operationalize those changes and what that looks like. I'm very interested.
It's funny because Chris Regas already said that we had a kind of amalgamation. I'm not sure exactly when it was. He mentioned a time, but in this area where St. Catharines took in certain parts of Merritton and all the other stuff. Niagara Falls took in Chippewa.
You had Grantham, you had Merritton, you had Port Dalhousie, and there was resistance back then as well. I'm not sure if Chris spoke about that. I saw,
he did.
Yeah,
I think he did.
Yeah, and there was resistance back then, but at the end of the day, it worked out for everyone. And guess what? If you're a local St. Catharines resident, you'll know where Port Dalhousie is. You know where Grantham is. You know where Merritton is.
Yeah, you haven't lost that.
Yeah.
And I just keep telling people, if you think people give up their identity, go to Chippewa and you ask them where they're from. And I will guarantee you they're not going to say they're from Niagara Falls.
That's awesome.
Where are you from? We're from Chippewa.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just the way it is. So go to Texas and ask a Texan where they're from.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're not from the United States of America. They're in Texas.
They're Texas, that's right.
Yeah, they know exactly where they're from. They're the Republic of Texas. So, I mean, that's the way it is. You don't lose your identity. And I mean, that's some of the phony stuff that some of these guys are saying, like Niagara and Lake Zalepa, we're going to lose our identity. No, you're not. You're going to be Niagara and Lake. You're going to be the quaint town that's always been there. And Niagara Falls will be the carnival town. We're not losing our identity ever, right?
They also point to when Bob Gales was speaking in front of Niagara on the Lake, they were concerned about their volunteer firefighting force. You'll still have a volunteer firefighting force. It's a rural area. It doesn't support the need for full-time firefighters yet. Maybe someday it does. But everyone forgets, like the city of Hamilton went through this, and they still have a very, very strong and proud volunteer firefighting program in the city of Hamilton that still exists. They're still always calling out for more volunteers. So I don't see that. I don't see that changing or as a reason not to evolve our governance here in Niagara.
No, it's just one of those things. They don't want to give up their fiefdom. Oh, we got this going, and we don't want to lose it, and blah blah blah. It's just smoke. Because at the end of the day, they're going to still be Niagara and Lake, and Fort Erie will still be Fort Erie.
That's right. Yeah,
and Niagara Falls will still be Niagara Falls. It's just the way it is. You don't lose that.
No.
So to use that as an excuse, no, I don't buy that at all.
Port Cormor still host their Tall Ships Festival. St. Catharines will still host their Grape and Wine Festival, right? Yeah. So things will still carry on, and those traditions will still carry forward. And you're still going to have community groups like the Coalition for a Better St. Catharines, or Steve's group out in Niagara on the Lake, Coalition for a Better Niagara on the Lake. You'll still have those coalitions that are coming and try and influence change or influence positive changes in their community. And so you're still going to have a voice.
Yeah, well, you're not going to lose it. And I mean, you're right. Like if somebody says to me, if I say to somebody, where do you live? He goes, Port Dalhousie. I don't say, oh, you mean St. Catharines?
Yeah.
No, I know what Port Dalhousie is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you live? Merritton. Okay, I know where Merritton is. Yeah. It's just...
Absolutely.
And so, like, when they start combining them all and making, like, Welland and Port Colborne and Thorold and all these other places, they're all going to have their own identity. And they're also going to have their own representatives for their city going to whatever the thing is called. Here it'd be called Niagara, there it'd be called Welland.
Yeah. No,
and
absolutely.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So don't ever accept that out there as a reason for it. It's not going to happen that way. It never did. We got proof.
Yeah. The urgency with regards to the need to change is not going to change until we change. The urgency, the number of people that are falling into arrears as a result of not being able to pay their property taxes with this term of council has increased. When you have property taxes going up 25% over a 3-4 year period, people aren't going to be able to afford their taxes. They're going to fall into arrears. And here in Niagara Falls, it was over a 40% increase with this term of council. In St. Catharines, it was 36% with this term of council. And they wouldn't share. I couldn't get the numbers from all the other municipalities that I asked, but I'm pretty sure that they're probably experiencing the same thing. So,
yeah, well, I mean, it's going right around. We see the same thing.
Yep. Is that me?
I don't know. There's something buzzing. I can't hear it too well because I got headphones on.
No, I don't know.
That's all right.
Yeah, okay.
It could be this one. Who knows? Oh, yeah, it's this one here. Who the hell knows who calls me on this? It's got to be somebody that's listening to the show because...
yeah, that's great. That's the only one who's calling you.
And nobody ever calls me on this. This is just for text messages. By the way, 289-994-7560.
Perfect.
But I won't answer it if you call. You got to text me. So I got to get to my second sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And after that, we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about 1 versus 4 and something else I read that we could talk about as well. My second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And, whenever you want a good pizza, you want consistency and you want recipes that have been tried and true over the years and they're good. You don't want people monkeying around with your pizza. It's very, very important pizza, and we don't want people fooling around. That's why we go to the place that delivers great pizza day after day. That's Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Why? The Mancini family recipe for sauce and crust, been around 40 years, tried and true, and also because they know how to make a pizza. They put the cheese on in the right ratio. They cook it just perfect. And with fresh toppings from A to Z, you're going to get a good pizza no matter what you put on it because you're starting with a good base. But they're not a one-trick wonder over here. They also have great chicken wings, fantastic. They have great steak and cheese poutine, regular poutine, chicken parm sandwiches, panzerotti. They do it all at Pete's Pizza. You can't go wrong. How do you get one of these beautiful pizzas? 905-374-2222. Or you can go to their website, petespizzavictoria.ca. You can order off their website. They use all the different services: skip, jump, run, dash, dine, up, down, whatever they're all called. I don't know. There's tons of them up there. And they opened a new location at the corner of Thoroldstone and Kaler Road. So the northwest part of the city can also enjoy great pizza. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Call today. Order your pizza. You want one. It's Montreal Canadiens Tuesday, and you want a pizza while you watch the Habs win tonight. Hey, support our sponsors. Come on, we have to support all small businesses in Niagara Falls, including my sponsors, and we thank them for sponsoring the show. Okay, moving on. Now, me personally, I don't care if it's 1 Niagara. I don't care if it's 4 Niagara, whatever they want to do. And the reason I don't care is because I know one thing. And I'm going to let you answer this.
Sure.
The definition of insanity is
doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
That's right. And so we've been doing it for 56 years, 55 years now. So it's time that we change to a better model. It's time that we get rid of some of the duplications of services and the inefficiencies that live on Schmann Parkway in that building. We got to do this. It's something that we have to do. And to me, I don't care which way we go. Yeah. It has to be better than what we've been doing. That's kind of my attitude.
And I'm kind of on the same boat, right? Like I can sit there and take a look at the numbers and say, 1 Niagara is the way to go. But I think you really do need to take a look at it from a service perspective. What services are we offering? There's some services we're offering that we don't need to be offering, right? Like, why are we offering these services? Why are we getting into this mandate? This isn't our mandate. Our core mandate is this stuff: public health, EMS, police, fire, garbage pickup, water, wastewater. Let's stick to the core principles, core services.
That's a great point there, because I think a lot of city councils, not just Niagara Falls because they're really bad, but other ones too, have to remember what are they supposed to be doing.
That's right.
They're supposed to be taking care of our roads, taking
Yeah.
care of our water, having a safe city, having a clean city,
Yep.
the infrastructure. They're not to be in partners with a guy to build an apartment building across the
That's
street,
right.
but they are. And, we have to really, really get down to what is our city council there for? What should they be spending the money on? Not $25,000 concrete ping pong tables.
Exactly.
Right? And we have to do that as a region too.
That's right.
What should they be doing? And how should they be spending our money? And I think
that's where it starts. If
Yeah.
you start with
Yeah.
that core principle to say, okay, what services do we have to offer? What's the best way to manage these services? I mean, supervise and manage them. It won't be by setting up 13 separate corporations. I'll assure you of that, right? And then from there, your governance structure will take care of itself, right? What's a reasonable amount of politicians to have? Now, I heard rumors that the province might dictate that anyways. The province might come down and say you can't have council sizes that have more. There's so many residents, so many politicians, right? And that's going to impact not just Niagara, but it'll impact many councils across Ontario. We have 220 municipalities in Ontario or something like that. Something like that. Yeah. So it'll impact on all of them. So that's. As long as you start with that core principle with regards to services, then I think that's where you start and you move forward from there.
Now I hear voices. I think I'm going crazy. I think this region is driving me crazy.
Oh yeah.
Look at this turn off. I got something playing here. Listen. Can you hear it, everybody? I'm not going nuts. You can hear this playing.
That's funny.
Listen to it. Oh, mamma mia, this is wacky, man. But we have to do something. That's the bottom line. And have you seen the latest one from a guy named Frank Del Duca? The five city model.
I mean, it's funny. It's funny, right? So I've heard of a one city model. I heard of a three model, four model, three or four, three as well. I've heard of a 4 city model, and I actually heard now 5. And then I was talking to someone a couple of years ago who wanted like a 7 city model. And I'm like, what? Do you want 7 corporations or 8 if they're including the region? You want 8 corporations instead of, where are you saving the money? Like, why even change? Just leave it all the same because it's going to cost so much to change it anyway. So why would you change it?
Yeah, and when you have all these politicians and they're all trying to make a decision, it's a lot harder to make a decision with 30 people. Like 8 or 10 or 12 people than it is 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Like it's just the way it is. It's not because of anything that is outstanding or weird. It's just the way it is. How many people agree with each other on anything? Now you need enough to make it a democracy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Right. You don't have one person making all the decisions. That's all right. But then again, you don't need 126.
You don't need 126. This isn't about protecting political structures or political silos or this whole process shouldn't be about protecting political people. What it should be about, it should be protecting the residents and protecting your services, that your core services that you demand, that you need, and it should be maintaining the trust of the taxpayer. Right? So let's be clear. And it's building in that accountability again. Right? My property taxes go up in St. Catharines, and I'm like, well, where did it come from? Let's try and figure this out. The city's responsible for this amount. The region's responsible for this amount. And then by the time you're done, you have both those cities, you have the region and you have the cities pointing their fingers at each other, saying, no, the increase was because of them. No, it's because of police. No, it's because of this. No, it's because of this. You're like, no one's taking any type of accountability for massive tax increases.
Well, that's a great point. And I think amalgamation, not only will it make it better for taxpayers and relieve us of these duplication of services and inefficiencies, I think it could lead to some much needed review of departments.
Yes.
While we're at it, because I know even in Niagara Falls, and I always everybody else says you always pick on the firefighters. No, I'm not picking on them. What I'm doing is looking at the department that's sacrosanct and nobody will look at and saying, what do we really need? When we have 4,000 fire calls and less than 1% of them are for actual fires, then you got to say, well, what are these guys doing? What are these guys doing? Well, they're going to medical emergencies. That's maybe we need less firefighters and more EMS.
That's right.
Or maybe we need whatever. I don't know. But unless we do a review of that department and take a good look at it, Doge, then we don't know what we need. So to continue on, just giving them whatever they ask for because they asked for it, that's not right. We have to get into some of these departments and find efficiencies. I mean, I think we can find $5 million right in the fire department in Niagara Falls just by getting them on 12-hour shifts rather than 24-hour or 8-hour shifts, whatever. And getting rid of all the stuff that goes along with having 24-hour shifts, including kitchens and workout rooms and everything else, right?
You bring up a good point with regards to fire and their tiered response program. That's how they respond to medical calls, depending on acuity and the length of time it'll take for EMS to get there, is all up to City Council. City Council makes those decisions, and I know a number of years ago, and I'm probably dating myself, probably about 15 years ago. Grimsby decided to actually take a look at that and determine, okay, we're responding to a lot of medical calls. Do we actually need to be there? And so they made a change to the tree or to that program, and Grimsby started going to less emergency calls. And when they measured the outcome of this, that EMS they wouldn't be going to as many, it didn't have any impact. It had zero impact on. There was no negative impacts on fire at that point with Grimsby being a voluntary program going to less calls. And I thought that was quite interesting, and I'm surprised that more fire services here in Niagara wouldn't take advantage of that to say, hey, maybe there's an opportunity for us to go on less calls, to go out there, because when they go hot, right? They go lights and sirens out there. So,
and the reason they're going in the first place, this thing's on again. And the reason they're going in the first place is because
this thing's going crazy. Right?
I don't know. It's got a gremlin,
mind of its own.
There's something going on here. I don't know what it is. We'll always turn the volume down so we can't hear whatever they're talking about. But when you look at it, the reason firefighters have to go out to these calls is because there's not enough EMS to go out. Right. They're tied up, so they go out first because they can respond first.
That's right. If I'm having a heart attack, right, I want to have an advanced care paramedic working on me. Not necessarily a firefighter who's got basic first aid. I want to have an advanced care paramedic working on me if I have the option, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, fire shows up to a lot of these medical events. They get there first, and it's because I don't know, you got EMS that are in offload delay at the hospital, or they're on other calls, and so they just don't have the capacity to be able to show up under. They still meet their expectations. They still meet their time. There's certain time restraints if you're rural or if you're local. But I would. That should be some analysis that gets done. There's companies out there that do that analysis now.
And I got a feeling that Jason Burgess wants to do this, but City Council always, they just won't touch the firefighters. And even just taking a look at firefighting, say from 30 or 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, all the houses now are built with safer materials, fireproof materials. Now they're even talking about every house has to have sprinklers in them and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be part of the way they build houses, much like now they all have air conditioners. They never had them 50, 60 years ago. Now it's expected. And they're going to go to this stuff. So I think that you have your older part of the city that might have problems with fire because they're all old houses built 100 years ago. But the new ones are all pretty modern and pretty modern. You use fireproof drywalls and stuff like that. They're a little bit better.
Yeah, it is different now, isn't it? My grandfather started the volunteer firefighting program out in Elsford, and as part of being in there, all my uncles and my dad had to volunteer there for a period of time, right, as they were growing up. And I was, where was it? It was Fort Erie. Was talking about their volunteer firefighting program. It sounded awesome. It sounded like just around 100 volunteer firefighters. It sounds like it's a great program where they do a lot of community education, and that seems to be, whether it's full time or whether it's voluntary, that seems to be where fire services has gone. It's more public education and mitigation.
Yeah, right.
With regards to sprinklers and
Exactly.
smoke detectors, CO2 detectors. So
Kids playing with matches. That was our big problem when we were kids.
Me too. Yeah, I know. I like
Who's
fire.
got matches anymore? You don't need matches.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, they're not even around anymore.
No, I used to get the packs of matches that the kids could light up from all the bars and everything. Now you can't even find a book of matches.
No, you can't. No, you can't. That's
Everybody
right.
used to give them.
Yeah.
The times have changed. That's what I'm saying, and it might be time to review some of these
Good
agencies and see exactly what we need, rather than, once again,
what we're being told we need.
Yeah, being told we need and just carrying on with traditions that probably have no relevance to the 2020s.
That's right.
When it goes like that. So I'm just saying the firefighters, but there's a lot of departments that we could look at and save money on, and especially when it comes to the region and duplication of services. And I think Jason Burgess or Jim Dudad, he said it best. The region goes down the road. A city drives down a regional road with their plow up and turns off and puts the plow down.
It doesn't make any sense, does it?
To get where they're going to plow, why can't they just have their plow down and
just leave it down and do it?
Yeah, do those regional roads. It doesn't make sense at all on any level today. And you know what even is worse is that because of this stuff, we're seeing, I think, something like a 33% rise in the regional taxes over the last 4 years, and 25% rise in the city taxes over the last 4 years. So we cannot keep doing this.
Can't. No, it's just not sustainable. Changes need to happen so that we can be more affordable, and that's number one. More sustainable, and so that we can know where the accountability lies when something happens or something doesn't happen. If taxes go up, I want to know who I'm holding accountable. I don't want to have to guess. Is this the city? Is it the region? Who's spin doctors out pointing at who to try and figure out who needs to be held accountable for these massive tax increases? It can't happen.
If you say the region, they'll say, "Oh, it's not us, it's the city."
Yeah.
If you say the city, they'll say, "It's not us, it's the region." Then when they both get together, it's not us, it's Doug Ford.
Yeah. That's another good point. They're pointing upwards. In the first term, the first year of this council, especially the one in St. Catharines, they uploaded transit to the region.
Yes.
So transit services went up to the region, and then I know that in my city, they made a political decision to take those savings, and instead of giving them back to the taxpayer, when the taxpayer was going to be on the hook to pay them at the city or at the regional level, they decided to spend it, and they spent it on putting millions of dollars into reserve, hiring 47 more people, and they basically increased the salaries of some of the staff that were already there, claiming that we had a staff retention problem. So they basically spent all of those savings, and St. Catharines residents saw the highest ever property tax increase in the city's history. And then some of the councillors, not saying all of them, but some of the councillors started pointing fingers at the city, saying it wasn't our fault. No, it was the region's fault because of police. Look at the police budget. Look at the police budget. It's like throwing stuff and say, look at the noise. Hear the noise. Look over there. Look over there. Don't blame us. It's ridiculous.
Distraction.
Yep, exactly. It wasn't right. So
yeah, I know, and the transit was real kicking the to the city here, because we were spending $7.5 million a year on our transit, and as soon as it went over to the region where they got all our buses and took over everything, and they promised that we would be paying $7.5 million. It was going to be an equal trade type of thing. Our taxes went up double the cost of transit. And I mean, Councilor Lococo always gets up and talks about this, like, how did this happen? Nobody can explain it. And we had to buy new buses, your old equipment you gave us, and come on.
Yeah, and the other part of that, which I sit there and I just shake my head, is until you can come up with a reasonable budget, we shouldn't be enhancing services. We shouldn't be. So yeah, we want to now start offering holiday Sunday service. So on a holiday Sunday, we're going to be paying double time and a half to offer a bus service, so that maybe one or two people can take it on that particular day. Like, we need to look at ridership. You need to look at all this. And when you can finally get your budget in control and you do that really, really well, then maybe we can look at enhancements after we do some public engagement.
And now they have a new thing to blame it on. Electric buses.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Spending hundreds of millions on electric buses. They're going to do this. The capital costs are huge. the infrastructure to charge these things is huge, and they don't even know if they're going to, like there's other cities that are doing this. Let's look to them.
Yeah, let's look and see what they did.
Yeah,
it's like the amalgamation thing, right? Like you guys went through the amalgamation. What went really well? What didn't go well? The stuff's there. Like the information's there. So, but for people to complain that there's no data to support the need for change, and that's what I hear. Well, where's the data? Where's the data to support that we need to change? There's plenty of data. There's lots and lots and lots of data. You can go like you do, look at the budget report. You can look at the financial information returns, which all 12 lower tier municipalities in the region of Niagara have to file. That'll give you an understanding of where all the staffing and all the massive staffing increases have taken place. You can look at the sunshine list. Take a look at that. And now there's sufficient data right there to warrant and support change. And even the information that Jason Burgess provided with regards to where we stand in relation to the rest of the province. So that's plenty of data for me to support the need that we need to move forward and do something.
Yeah, and as far as regional government goes, we've got 56 years of data that doesn't work. It's cost us more and more and more, and it's not going to get any better. They've told you they're going to have to raise it 10% every year from now on to pay for South Niagara water waste treatment and the refurbish. They're spending a whack on the one in Niagara Falls to refurbish the water treatment plant because it's so old and decrepit.
That's right.
So we're not off the hook for at least probably 20 years.
Yeah. We need to make some major changes. It needs to happen sooner than later because we're just going to keep the cost of doing nothing is going to be greater than the cost of making these changes, refocusing our efforts on core services, and then finding out a better way to manage those services moving forward. And that's unfortunately going to mean, we're overstaffed right now with our municipal government. It's as simple as that.
Now, I was watching the regional council meeting a bit, and they voted 23-2 to initiate a service delivery and governance review of the region. And I'm just sitting there going, so after 55 years of excess, they finally seen the light. Thank you, Bob Gale.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob Gale. Yeah. I mean, what did they think before? I just don't get this at all. The region was running great. That there's no excess. Our taxes are going up every year.
It's all virtue signaling, right? And this goes the same with these municipal councils that are decreasing stuff by decreasing political figures by 1 or 2 in each of these little cities. It's all virtue signaling with the hope, okay, maybe the province won't come in and mandate any changes. I mean, they've had, like you said, this last term of council, they've had 3.5 years to facilitate these changes. It wasn't like governance was never brought up. We had a steering committee. The province came down in 2024. We've had ample opportunities for people to talk about this. Chair Jim Bradley at the time had actually commented. He says, governance isn't on our radar because no one ever talks about governance except for the media. Right? I'm like, what are you talking about? Everyone's talking about governance.
Yeah, I know. It makes you laugh when these guys talk because, I mean, let's face it, regional council is liberal. That's tax and spend politics. So none of this surprises me. Bob Gale wasn't like, because he's a conservative and he's the guy who capped the increases at 3.5%.
Yeah.
You got that passed. They never adhered to it anyway.
They never got to it. Yeah.
They never adhered to it no matter what. But that's what they said. A governance review is going to be initiated at the regional level to address areas of duplication and improve service efficiency based on data, a business case with financial analysis and public consultation, including local area municipalities. I guess they must call them LAMs.
LAMs, yeah.
LAMs.
Local area.
Commencing the term of the next council. That the results will be forwarded to the premier. This motion was carried. The next council, not this one.
Not this one, the next one.
The next one.
Yeah.
That means we're going into 2030 at least with a regional council. That's what it sounds like to me now.
And it means hiring more staff.
Yeah. The one wrench in their whole plan here is that Doug Ford might say, no.
Yeah.
No. Regional council's gone. Yeah. We're going to just put a committee on there to run it, and then we're going to transition to whatever model that he decides.
And they're all going to claim, they're all going to say, woe is me. When Doug Ford was first elected, he came out and directly said, 126 politicians is too many. This is ridiculous. You have more than a provincial legislature. He said, we will support any type of change. And he waited and he waited and he waited. And yes, there were talks. And yes, there were shared service agreements like the one in Niagara Falls. But like all of these shared service, not Niagara Falls, sorry, Grimsby Lincoln Fire amalgamation. But like everything else that's happened here with shared services, they do it for a little while and then like, yeah, you know what? We don't like it anymore. We're going to stop sharing. We're going to stop doing this at a cost to the taxpayer. So I don't want to hear from any politicians that are like, oh, this is heavy-handed on the part of Doug Ford. He should have done this. No, you've had your opportunity, people. Laura Ip, in her first year as a regional council, came forward this motion to go do this exact same thing, and it was soundly defeated. Soundly defeated. So you've had your chance. Now it's time for someone to step in, and this was the only way this was going to get done because local politics is just crazy around here.
And they really are. They really are. And I think everybody knows that regional government is inefficient. Everybody knows there's duplication of services. I mean, everybody's talked about this for years. Yeah. That's why somebody says, well, we need to do a review. We got to reach out. We got to figure this. No, you don't.
We've done enough reviews.
Yeah, you've had 56 years of reviews, and they all been terrible.
And there's plenty of data. There's lots of data to support that what we're doing right now is not working.
Not only from the Niagara region that we've seen, but from tons of regions around Ontario.
Yeah, our comparators.
Yeah, we've seen it all. So what data do you need to... I mean, even the dopiest guy walking on the street knows regional government sucks and they want to get rid of it. Ask anybody if they want to get rid of regional government, and unless maybe their mother and father work for the region or somebody works or whatever, everybody else is going to say get rid of it. Everybody else might say, well, yeah, my parents work there, so I don't want to do that.
I'm looking forward to Dr. Marvin Ryder. I want to hear his comments about
that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be there April 30th. I don't know what time. I'm not sure if I'm attending that yet.
I hope they stream it.
You know what? I think it would be brilliant. I think it would be awesome if they did. But again, I hope one of the questions that gets asked is, what would you do differently if you were amalgamating Niagara? And I'd also I want to hear about all the successes that happened, because a lot of people say Hamilton wasn't a success. And I say, no, it was a success. They saved tons of money. They were able to decrease property taxes. And the reason their taxes ended up going up had nothing to do with amalgamation, but had to do with political decisions to spend money in other areas, other priorities.
What do they have, like 18 councillors or something?
16 councillors,
for 500,000 people. Yeah. We have 126 for 500,000 people. Now, Dr. Marvin Ryder, he's on CHH all the time.
Yep, he is.
They always consult him about whatever's going on anywhere. He's pretty sharp.
Yeah, it's that type of experience that I'm kind of hoping that they even bring him in. Maybe he can help out with this. Look at the process and learn from the mistakes that occurred with Hamilton.
Yeah, fantastic idea. I think that's probably one of the better ways to do it. Get these guys who have been through it, know what they're doing, and can really guide you as to how it should go down.
Absolutely.
And what's going to happen. And like I say, to me, I don't care if it's one Niagara. I don't care if it's 4 cities. I don't think 5 would. I think 4. But 4 for sure. If we're going to go multiple. Yep. And I think that something's got to be done, because like we always say, like the definition of insanity. I just go back to that.
Yeah. It's doing the same thing over and over and over, which we've done for the last over 50 years.
Yeah. So, that's it. It's the way, and I'm glad that regional council is going to do this review, but.
And now you get to it.
It's a lot of lip service, I think, and it's, none of them have been proactive in this. It's all been reactive. That's right. Doug Ford said this, Bob Gale said this, now we have to do this. Yeah. Because, they wouldn't be doing it if it at all. They wouldn't be thinking of it.
No, they wouldn't. It'd be the same thing that happens every single time. Okay, the pressure fades. We're just going to sit back. We're not going to talk about it. Just keep kicking the can down the road. We'll just keep doing this until something else happens.
So I guess the best thing is we have another month, another 4 weeks till May 1st. That's when the nominations open for city councils.
Changes have to happen before that.
So
if there's going to be changes,
we've got 1 month. I don't think that's enough time.
No.
To make this kind of decision. We'll see what happens. Yeah. But Ford, he may just say April Fool's Day.
Yeah, you do it.
Tomorrow's April Fool's Day.
I wouldn't be surprised to hear an announcement in the next few days. I would not be surprised at all, because don't forget, if he does make any changes to governance, the cities have to respond, right? Because they have to get everything ready to go on May 1st.
Yeah, so they have to have time. So it's if we don't hear from him in the next week, it's not going to be the 2030.
No.
Or it might, something interim might happen between 2026 elections and 2030, but nothing major. It's going to be planning for what his decision is. That's probably it.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope we hear something this week.
And Chris Reed just said he thinks that that basically what they're going to do is say there'll be no elections for regional councilors. We're just going to have boards and mayors and that making decisions as we transition to whatever the new model is. So that's another possibility.
I've heard that as well.
And they may just delay the nominations to maybe July 1st, so they have a couple more months to work with. Yeah. Which wouldn't make a difference for the elections anyway, right?
No, it doesn't. Not when you only have 26% of the people coming out. And that just brings you over to a point like, this is your city, it's your voice.
It's your vote.
And it's your vote, right? And so you got to get out and vote. You got to take some responsibility here, and you got to spread the word. If you want to see change or you want to facilitate change, the only way to do it is to go out and vote for your city councilors or your regional councilors, depending on what they are, your mayor, and be active. Not 26% or 15% or 20%, whatever it is. That's not going to do it.
No, 27% show up. It's a joke.
It is.
How can you take it seriously?
Yeah, it's a good point. 27% of the people deciding what's going to happen.
When we have 60% voting, then they take you seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Exactly. So that's a huge number. Okay, Al, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's been great.
Looking forward to doing it again.
Seeing you. Yeah, we'll do it maybe after the
announcement?
May 1st. Yeah, after the announcement. After the announcement.
We'll stay in touch.
Tomorrow's show, Habsolutely, as Habs make their march to the playoffs. Thursday, City Council meeting goodies. I'll be talking about the City Council meeting tonight and what went down. And, of course, giving my opinion on everything they say and do. Of course, I'm going to be doing that. And, of course, including some regional and world news, because there's so much going on in the world today.
Yes.
It changes by the second. And, of course, Good Friday. I'm not doing a show this Friday on Good Friday. As we get into Holy Weekend, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and, of course, Easter Sunday, I'm not going to do a show, but I will be back on Monday. So we'll see you tomorrow at noon with Habsolutely. For those of you who like the Habs, for those of you who don't bother paying attention to what I'm saying there, we'll see you on Thursday with Your City, Your Voice before the Easter long weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to support my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. As well, go to my YouTube page, Paul Lemire 4973. Subscribe. It costs you nothing. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave comments on the show. And say what you think about Al's thoughts, because Al's pretty tuned in here. He knows pretty well what's going on.
Yeah.
Property Taxpayers Alliance. Don't forget about them either.
Yeah. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye now.
Have a good day.